since we only have the 10 minutes, I'll go right to the point.
Dive in.
Yeah. So I've actually read the book and seen the first 4 eps.
What'd you think?
I really like it. I like the book. It's have a little bit of a more darker feeling than the show.
Yeah.
And I was maybe we can begin there since I noticed some changes, like it's not set in Dubai, it's set in Bangkok, and you even changed the name from 2C to 3C. So could you tell me a little bit how those changes came to be and how you made it to your own show instead just adapting a book?
Right. It's interesting, yes, the book is a lot darker for sure. And it's so hard to adapt a book and really nail every moment, right? To get those details, it's almost impossible. Also, to make the show more TV friendly, make the book TV friendly, and it was in my voice, which I can't help but bring a little levity and comedy, right? So it was definitely written for me. We like that the show obviously has a lot of drama, but it also doesn't take itself too seriously. There's those quirky sides for sure.
Yeah.
Also, you're the second person to mention the 2C, 3C. I didn't even remember that in the book. And I was trying to think why that changed. And I have a feeling it might have been how we configured the plane. There must have been a reason where we sat him in the plane that it had to be 3. But I'm going to ask, I am really curious myself why that changed. That's a good question.
Yeah. So obviously there was something in this story that piqued your interest very early on, since it hadn't even been released when you went after it before Reese could snatch it for you.
Yeah.
So what was it? Yeah. What was it that made you feel like this was the one?
It's interesting. When I was literally skipping around on Amazon looking at all the upcoming releases, I saw the cover of this book, and it was a blonde woman kind of running. It didn't necessarily look like me, but it there was a vibe, and I was like, it just shows you how packaging can really win somebody over, right? I was like, ooh, I like the cover. And then I opened it and I read the first few sentences, and I got this chill up my spine, and I thought, wow, I don't know what this is, but I am so intrigued. And yes, I called to see if Reese got the rights, and they were like, it's not out yet. She hasn't got the rights. So 6 months later, I acquired the rights. And during that time, they thought I had read the book, and I hadn't read the book yet. I just was like, do it, get it. I kind of lied. I'm like, oh, I read it. It's great. We got to do this. So obviously in that meantime, I read the book. Thank God, I loved it. And I thought, the book was great, but I loved Cassie. That was kind of, I was trying to look at it as a producer going, this girl would make good TV. Like, she's such a train wreck, but you love her. You want her to succeed, right? And she keeps making all these mistakes. And then the dark side of her and the alcoholism and the trauma with her family makes your heart break for her, and I think she'd make for good TV. And I think I was right.
Yeah, I agree, and I must say that the poster that you're using that's good packaging too.
Isn't that good packaging? Yeah, it's all about the packaging, right? Because that's what people see. They see it, and that's what they think of, and so it's important.
Yeah. So in the book, and it's mentioned in the series, but maybe not as much. Cassie is like a frequent flyer at the animal shelter. She loves animals, and from what I've gathered, that's something that you can relate to. And I was wondering, during this time when you went to shoot in Bangkok, were you able to bring any of your animals with you, or did you have to go and do some serious method acting there?
Well, first of all, you're right. Reading the book, it was amazing to read that she loved animals so much. I was like, wow, that's an interesting trait that I share with her. So we really actually played into that in the series. I know you watched the first few, and as it goes on, if you look, I think we call them Easter eggs. You see there are bunnies everywhere, and dogs and horses, and so we've thrown them in. In fact, in the pilot, when I show Megan my phone of me and Elvis the rabbit, that's my rabbit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my rabbit. So there's all these little things that we have weaved in that obviously are things that I love, but it ended up working out for the character. I didn't get to bring any animals to Thailand. That would have been a tough travel. That was the longest flight I have ever been on in my life.
Yeah, and going off of that, you're making a show called The Flight Attendant, and you went to shoot in Bangkok, and you did this like just before the pandemic, like came at us all in the entire world,
Yeah, it's
and
kind of amazing. It's amazing. We shot in Thailand and Rome right before the COVID hit. And so we
yeah,
got so lucky. If we hadn't have done it that way, if we had waited, which by the way, there were so many conversations about shooting Rome at the end of our shoot, which would have been in April. And we went back and forth, and certain people with scheduling couldn't do it then. So we made it happen in January, which in hindsight, if we hadn't done that, I don't know if we'd have a show because we talk
yeah.
about Rome so much in the show. So we got so lucky.
So how was it being now you're being a producer as well? So you're not just just an actor, but you're not you have some kind of additional responsibilities, like you're kind of the boss as well.
It
And
was
I was
interesting.
so I was wondering how that was to have that being kind of your first experience now in a big show like that, but adding COVID into that and then bringing everyone back on set to shoot the New York
Yeah,
episodes. So how was that for you, and how did you manage to do that?
it was pretty insane. I mean, I loved executive producing this. I loved having my hand in things. It was funny when I would be on calls or helping editing or kind of looking at scenes. When I would talk as if that was a different person. So like I would say, "Oh, I didn't like how she did that take," but I was talking about myself.
Yeah,
Or, "Oh, can she put on? I don't like that jacket. Let's get like." I was definitely able. I just separated myself. It was like I
yeah,
wasn't that person anymore. But yes, as you can imagine, the months before us coming back, this last few months, there were so many conversations on how we were going to do it and how we were going to make everyone feel safe, take care of our crew and our cast. Months of conversation. So, and actually, we were one of the first shows back in New York. I actually think we were
yeah,
the first show back. And so we basically wrote the book. We literally wrote a book on what we did. And a bunch of shows are using it, which is pretty unbelievable because we got through with a super healthy shoot. And I felt like once we had the rules in place, I needed everyone to see me when I got there, feel confident, happy to
yeah,
be there. I didn't want anyone, if I looked worried or felt I didn't want my crew and my cast to feel that way. So I walked in like nothing had happened. I mean, I had a mask on, but things were a little bit different. But my attitude didn't change and it helped ease everybody. And I said, guys, we got this. Like, if we can all participate and do it the right way, we're going to have a great shoot and it's going to be successful. And it was. And so I was
yeah.
very proud of that we were able to accomplish that.
That's great. And when you actually got the rights, you were still playing Penny and had this
Right.
massive show on air still. And I can see why it would have been a good idea to sell this as a mini series, since you were otherwise engaged.
I know. And
And,
I thought we
and
were doing another season of Big Bang. So I didn't think
yeah,
didn't think we'd be shooting Flight Attendant for a while. I had no idea.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I saw that all of you guys got some tattoos together, so you're all obviously bonded. So my question is, would you be up for a second season if this show turns out to be a success, even though it's marketed as a miniseries?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we are hoping for a second season and we have many ideas of how that could look. You know, now we've accomplished the book. The book is done. And I
Yeah,
think the character has so many places to go and so many different things she could do. And also tackling her inner demons, which is a lifetime, but doesn't happen overnight. And so I
yeah.
think following her around for another 8 episodes would be interesting.
Yeah, I really agree. So I know we're almost out of time, but I'm just wondering. Now we're almost about to leave 2020 behind us, like the worst year ever. So I'm wondering, what are you looking forward to, looking positively on 2021?
Like everybody else, I'm excited to wake up on January 1st and not have to write 2020 down ever again,
Yeah,
for so many reasons. I'm hoping we continue to work, that we can continue to have these jobs and give these crews work, and that it won't be as stressful as maybe this last year was, that we can get back to a sense of normalcy. It's funny, even shooting these last few months with COVID, after a few days, it became normal, which is weird to
yeah,
say, but like all the protocol, you'd walk in and get your test, like it was kind of okay. So I hope things do settle next year. Maybe with a vaccine would be nice, and we can all hug our friends again, like everybody, our friends and family, and have a normal year, because it's definitely, this has been very challenging for everybody.
yeah. I agree. Well, I think we're out of time, so I just want to wish you all the best of luck with the
Thank you.
premiere, and wish for that second season.
Thank you so much.